Hello, everyone. My name is Anuj Sharma. I am from Hack to Skill. I hope you guys are really excited for today's session. So, before moving forward, I'll just set up the agenda and the context for today's panel discussion. Why are we doing this? What's the agenda? What are you going to learn? So, in the month of January, we organized Robotic Process Automation Developer Camp, right? And many of you took part in it, got to learn about RPA, started journey with robotic process automation, and did the introduction to RP diploma course. We received more than 5,000, 6,000 registrations, and more than 1,500 students were trained. So with the same enthusiasm, we are back again with robotic process automation developer camp April. The April phase, or you can call the second part of it. So this month we're going to do something similar, but before we jump into the RPADC, we wanted to do something with our existing audience, right? We wanted to engage them somehow, and we wanted to show that just being a part of one initiative is not all. We are here to take you through the future, and hence we are here with the amazing panelist to do a panel discussion on the topic future of automation and opportunities. In today's session, we are going to cover what are the scope of future opportunities in robotic process automation. How can academics, colleges, institutes, and students leverage it, and how can students who are not from tech domain, take RPA as their main core skill set and move ahead with it. So before I jump to the conclusion, I'd like to invite each panelist and I'll introduce them, then add them to the screen. So we have Mr. Ishmit Bindra with us. We have Mr. Syed Pasha, Mr. Satish Prasad from the industry panelist. And then we have Mr. Vinay S. from PES College of Engineering, and last but not the least, Shobhati, Miss Shobhati, or I should say Shobha ma'am and Vinay sir from our academic mentor panel. So we are here. So how are you guys feeling? First of all, thanks a lot everyone for joining in on this Sunday evening and taking out time, to do a discussion on this topic, which is really needed for the students.
Feeling very good. Thank you so much for arranging this, and we would also like to answer all the questions that students are having.
Yes. So before we move forward, like I'll set the tone for this panel discussion. I'll start with one question, then we can move according to the comment section, according to the questions, concerns, and answers which you guys have, Vanessa and Shobha ma'am. So my first, it's the name of this session. What is the scope of automation in future? Right now, we know that RP is at its peak as predicted 3 years back, right? And every domain in RPA, developer, architect, analyst, are hiring at a very fast space. And industry is already moving towards the automation sector. But in the academic, personally, when I work with the college, I feel that many colleges don't know about RPA. So what's the future of RP from the college, academic, and industry perspective, not just from the industry? I guess anyone can start sharing the perspective, then Vanessa could add few questions, and then we can move on.
Perfect. Anush, thanks for the opportunity. Let me do the initial kickoff for this session. Uh, I'm really glad to be with this super panelists. And coming to the future, as you're saying, now automation is I just posted it. Now it became an inevitable thing for the companies to have on the table, to have in their strategies. In one line, the companies are targeting autonomous enterprise, which means they have an autonomous and automated tools or the systems or the processes running on which they wanted to consider as a basic platform. So the companies are slightly putting automation in every agenda or every year's goals, targets, and the KPIs. So this is a quick one-liner which I would like to tell about how the automation pace is looking at the industries, and my colleagues can add.
So just to add more, insights about market size, right? That's really tells about the volume of the RPA initiative going across the world. So you must have heard the name of Gartner. Gartner is a really a well-known agency which produce a lot of analyst report throughout the year, and they have predicted that RPA is growing at the rate of 25% per year, even in the pandemics, right? As of now, the market value for RPA is 2 billion and it's going to touch 30 billion in 2030, right? So you can see the huge amount of growth that is coming toward, right? And when we say RPA is not a standalone technology. It consists of a lot of additive technologies coming together, right? Intelligent automation, hyper automation, end-to-end automation, BPM. Those all these technologies coming together to making it a more bigger area, right? So it's a right time to start your career if you're looking into RPA, and we can certainly help up with how you can start with and all those things. Ismin, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I think we have covered everything. But one point that I would like to add here is like Anuj said, like this is the peak of RPA. I don't agree with that statement. I think there is still a lot that is remaining. There is a lot that we have to automate. And as of now, like only recently, I was talking with the organization that was onboarding a new process, but they were not teaching it to humans. They were thinking from the perspective of how we can automate a new process rather than having a human do it first. So that is where the market is going right now. Instead of having to, train a particular human, how can from the day one, how can we have bots do that particular process? So
Yeah. So
there is
there,
a huge opportunity. Yeah.
yeah. So there is good saying in RPA. RPA says about we automate so that the person don't has to be robot, right? That means we are freeing up the person so that they can do more meaningful work, and that's the core of the RPA, so that you can do a lot of other things, and whatever the mundane repetitive tasks, those can be done by the bots that we build using the RPA,
Okay,
right?
so basically, this clears out the myth that RPA is gonna take over the humans and take over the job. So, guys, one of the most common question is answered here, along with some other tips. Sayed is laughing. So, okay. So coming back to my second question, which I had previously, that the market size is growing, right? I guess Vanessa will also agree to this point that whenever I have personally seen this, that whenever a freshie tries to apply for RPA, right, for a RPA job, irrespective of architect or developer, analyst, so they require experience. and it's really tough for the freshers to get job in RPA. Vanessa, as the training and placement officer, so he could shed more light on the hiring side from the college perspective, which could clear out. Vanessa?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Anuj. So from an academic perspective, like I also work as a professor in the Department of Computer Science, also in training and placement. So first time I got to know about this RPA was in 2019 when UIPath actually had an interaction with the academic institutions to propose this elective called Robotic Process Automation. So 2019, we signed up an MOU with them, wherein they trained couple of our faculties on UiPath, trained our faculties in Bangalore on their tools and the concept, and they also gave us the complete syllabus on what could be taught to students. So that's when we, in the at the department level, introduced this subject 2019. Then later we realized that okay, it's just not confined to only IT related streams, and that's when we thought of introducing this as an open elective, where along with any branch student, irrespective of what background they come from, need to be aware about this RPA. So right now, like probably from our institute, I can say that we have trained over the last couple of years, 2.5 years, maybe around 150 students getting exposed to this RPA. UiPath has offered us the tool which students can use it to learn on their own. So right now, like that initial awareness about RPA has been created in good number of institutes, I can say that. And one recent development which happened a couple of months back was like UiPath had approached few of the institutes for recruitment as well. Okay, so that was something which was like an added like icing on the cake, where students realized that yes, the company itself is offering job for the freshers. Right now, I'm hopeful that the first round of interview have been conducted and few students have been shortlisted. Still, couple of rounds are pending. I'm hopeful that at least a couple of students would make it to UiPath, where they are offering a very good package, fresher package of around 14 lakhs per annum. So that would probably like make it much more popular, I would say. So that awareness is there in academia, that I can say. But then probably students need to get more clarity on the track which they need to pursue in order to be enabled to kind of call themselves, yes, I have been trained on this, I have been certified on this, and what are the opportunities there? How can I look into the opportunities which is specific to this? And that is something which probably the panel today from industry can throw light on, which will provide more clarity to students on how they can go about in future.
Thanks, Vanessa, for adding that. I have one interesting question here from Natasha Vihu. What's the best way to utilize community to learn RPA, irrespective of college being academic partner or not? I guess everyone here is a part of some community. I see Satish and Syed smiling on this question. So, regarding the future, I personally had a discussion on one of the forums 2 weeks back also regarding community being the next mode of learning. So what's your take on this? Do you think the academic collaboration would be an important pillar for the RPA future in the student academic domain, but eventually community will play as important role comparing to academic alliance? What's your take on this? And which will be more fruitful, academic alliances with companies who provide opportunities in RPA, or the opportunities being provided and the knowledge being shared in the community? Anyone can go. Ishmael, Satish, Sayed.
Let me take the first understanding about the question. So, do I need to be, if I understand the question correct, do I need to be aligned to any of the academic alliance program to pursue the better thing, Anuj? Is that
Not exactly. That's like a part of it, but I mean to say that academic alliances will play a major role, right? When you
okay?
want to learn RPA and when you want to get some opportunity. But at the same
Got
time, will community play an important role for students to grow? Because in some, not in some, like in majority of places, I've seen that community plays a very crucial role in comparison to, academic alliance when it comes to new technologies like blockchain is not yet in the colleges right now. Gaming technologies is not yet. When it comes to the traditional ones, Python, Java, IoT, colleges are far more better than the communities in comparison to providing opportunities, but not in the upcoming technology. That's a personal take on this.
Yes. So let me put you this way: the community. Maybe we slowly invent a new word for the community. I would say community is a resemblance or a I don't call it replacement, a replica of your enterprise now. So whatever happens, whatever the problems we solve in an enterprise level, all those problems have already been discussed in the community. And the enterprises also started looking at the value of communities. If you see, most of the companies now started hiring a community manager within their companies. Reason behind, we have gems, we have amazing solutions, we have path breaking the mode of automations found in community than in enterprise. Your enterprise is 8 hours. Let me tell you this: it's 8 hours of your day, it's locked. And your community is, to be honest, I would say, no, there is no time limit. You can find anything there at any given point of time, and everybody loves to do that. So via community, I would say, you're in the safe house. You're in the closest path to your enterprise entry. So I would say, please improve the community engagements. Let yourself get familiar with community. Community doesn't only means parties, talks, or sessions. It has solved a lot of problems out there and a lot of gems there. Trust me.
Okay, so building on that, I think if so, question like was something like whether the community, whether the colleges that are not having, let's say, alliance, whether they need to fail. So basically, I'll say that's not true because most of us, I'll take my example. When I started RPA, I the only resources that I had was academy of UIPath and community, and these are the two things that I think are best for any people that are trying to pursue RPA. You can learn anything from academy, and you can clear your doubts on community. Obviously, having academic alliance is a plus, but if you want to actually come into RPA, you already have all the resources available online for free, and you can utilize it and become anything.
So it's more like if you are part of the ecosystem where college alliance, academic alliance is there, along with the community, you'll have plus one, right?
Exactly,
But
it's
if you want
plus
to,
one. It's plus one, but like I said, again, as for me, it's not mandatory. It's good to have, but don't rely on that only. You have community, you have academy. Rely on those two things to become a very good developer, the best developer that one has seen.
Vanessa, you want to add something on this?
Yeah, like that's what. So, as I told you, one query which students have, like at the academic level, is so there are so many, I would say, domains which are there, right? Uh, Given the time constraints, if I have to focus solely on, let's say, RPA, right? Maybe like what would be the complementary other domain which they can choose so that they can excel in this. Let's say few students have questions whether I can, along with RPA, maybe something on AI, ML, some specialization related to that, some skilling related to that. What would be the complementary domain which can help them to kind of have options? Okay, so somebody can throw light on that, on what could be the uh, courses or certifications which are complementary in nature to what RPA does.
Okay, so let me answer this. Okay, so RPA not only provide an opportunity as a RPA developer, you have a lot of other roles as well. You have a RPA business analyst, you have a RPA infrastructure engineer, you have a RPA support roles, and you have also RPA process SME. Those are basically, you know, different set of domains talking together, right? So if a person wants to build his career in RPA and he's not very good at, coding, right? But he's, pretty much good in his logical analytical skill, right? He can choose RPA BA as a career option, right? Similarly, RPA is a one, you talk about that RPA tool technology can be done, right? What other tools and technology can be included with the RPA, right? Let's take example of cloud infrastructure, right? Whatever the RPA tools would be, right? Be it a UiPath or any other tool, right? There will be need of a person who will manage, help, and support the implementation of RPA tools, right? That means if you have some knowledge about the cloud technologies together with RPA, you can go for a RPA infrastructure engineer's role, and that is a really really demanding job nowadays, right? Similarly, if I talk about AI ML, everyone is looking after AI ML. They do some challenges and all those kind of things. But try to think from a business problem is specific, right? What kind of problems you can be able to solve with the combinations of technologies, right? If a person is from let's say from mechanical engineering, right, there are also opportunities available in a manufacturing domain which can be solved with the help of RPA along with the technologies which are available in a mechanical industry, right? So it all depends on what kinds of interest you have, right? But I can tell you there are lots of options available. It all depends what's your directions are and where you want to look yourself in next few years.
I have a counter question for that. You said that working with AI ML cloud will open up the opportunities, and we know that there are many domains where RPA work hand in hand. Out of
Yeah.
all these domains, which are working
Mhm.
parallel to the RPA, or I can call the partners of RPA, tech partners, which one do you think would be on the top in the upcoming future? AIM, is it going to be AIML? Is it going to be cloud? Is it going to be data, uh, data science, data analytics? Which one do you think would be? And this question is like for all. Ishmael, Satish, Syed, you all three have been in the industry for a very long time, and from the tech domains. Uh, this is not just a question from me, but I guess this would be from Vanessa and all the students watching also, because students are already confused in the first and second year that what should I do? Should I like focus competitive coding, DSA? Should I stick to AML? What to do? So like if they are selecting RPA, they need to know the future also. So if you could share some light on that.
Uh,
Let me take this. Go ahead, Ishmael.
okay. Okay. So I'll just share my point of view. So like you said, like which technologies are going to be on top. See, as for me, it's not like which technology is going to be on top, because what the future that I see is like all the technologies will support each other. If you have a solution, you develop it in RPA. If you have to host it, you need a cloud environment. If you need some intelligence, you use AI. Okay, so what today's engineer needs to know is that how they can be versatile. Earlier it was said that don't be jack of all trades, but now as for me the definition has changed. Be good in something, but be jack of all trades, have knowledge of everything, keep on exploring, keep on learning. And as for me, like I said, nothing, it's not guaranteed that what will be on top, because no one thought like, okay, blockchain will be something that will break the market. But today it is breaking the market. A lot of solutions from IBM to AWS, they're deploying a lot of solutions on blockchain, from food industry to IT industry. But so you cannot say which technology will be on top. It is more of like how different technologies support all together to deploy a good solution and service more people, as many people as possible. So what, again, I'll repeat my answer. It's more about like good in one technology and learn about everything else, have a knowledge about everything else, so that you can know what to apply and what's not.
I'm just taking back the session. One question behind. Vanessa, you just put a line. If someone is looking to pursue an RPA, what should be the parallel domain? So what they would like to learn. If this question was asked to me way back in 2017 or 18, I have an answer like with RPA, go have some knowledge of VBA, some .NET, some Python. So if you take me to 2022 and ask me the question, trust me, sir, in RPA, whatever we're learning, the ecosystem has evolved so big. I'm struggling every day to learn things within RPA, within UiPath. So it has slightly changed. I don't like to stop anybody's interest of having a parallel learning platform, but at the moment, the RPA has grown into such a state. If once you get into academy.uipath.com, trust me, that single website is enough for you for another 20, 30 years. So much has evolved. So not only for a developer, but also for a business analyst, also for a testing of the RPA product, then deploying the RPA product and maintaining the RPA product. It has grown into such a stage. And most of the RPA solutions have come out live. It is already pre-built. So 2017, 2018, my answer is having a VB script, .NET, and Python would actually add value. And coming to today's time, I would say if someone has 24 hours out of 24 hours of limit in a day, yes, they can explore something outside. But UiPath or the RP systems have covered too much to make you understand. And Anuj, I would like to hack one question, which is actually very interesting. It is by our Piyush. What was that question? It is for all the people out here in the panel. With RPA evolving every day, is there any specific component topic that people in the panel are working on? So maybe it is for me, Ishmeet, and Satish. Piyush is asking, is there what is that you guys trying to learn today? It is something, now I need to go next to Satish and look at all his books. What is he learning? What is he doing? I can't do that, but let me tell you from my side. So, Piyush, for all the others now, the ecosystem, again, repeating the word, has grown too big. We have too many robots built, too many automations built. The current thing which we're trying to do is to stabilize them. We have got too many children in our school, so a lot of noise there. So we need to keep them in calm. We need to give them some discipline, some activity. So first thing which most of the time I'm focusing is to fix the automations which are built way back in previous years. We are simplifying them. And the second thing which specifically myself and my team is actually working on is when we are automating the process, there is something which is still being done manually, which is code review. I built a product in UiPath. I developed using some, let that be UiPath or Automation Anywhere or Blue Prism. I still need Ishmeet or Satish manually sit down for 3 hours and review my code. So we're building something where the code built by the bot actually do the code review. The third thing which everybody agree with me is IDC, the intelligent document processing. How the documents could be processed by the bots with easiest complexity. If you give me 10 different PDFs to process, I have to spend more out of my limit efforts to build a bot which can manage those 10 PDFs. Not only me, most of the companies are now looking at how do we actually process all the documents irrespective of their format, their scale of pixels and all. So these are the three things which I'm personally focusing to implement or go ahead with.
Yeah, and just to add on that, couple of those things we are also doing at our organization, but at the same time, we are also trying to automate the steps that we do to build our automation. So we are basically, implementing a lot of DevOps solution in our development cycle so that RPA can be automated quickly. It can be delivered, sooner than expected, and also it will be of best quality, right? So DevOps is also one section that we are, trying to improve with the RPA.
There's a counter question for Syed from someone in the comment section. Hawk, sir, but GitHub already has multiple AI based code review bots.
Yeah, Anuj, thanks. I was just reading the same question, and he has an interesting question, little above. Hey, Mister, I don't know what is your name. You're really a hawk. You're giving us a very good questions. So when anyways we can automate the tasks that we are doing using RPA tools like UiPath, using simple Python scripts or Java scripts, why do we need an RPA? So this was, if I would like to tell you, the automation is there 20 years before. The scripts were there 15 years before. They don't need it now. Let me tell you what actually happened. If I develop a script using Python, I give it to someone. There is what needs for an enterprise is this support, the management. So there should be someone who manages my product even after 20 years. If I built a code now, give it to you, there is a code review tool in GitHub, I took it. Point one, my client will not agree to use something available on Git on their production platforms. Number two, if something went wrong there, I need an extra skill set to only fix those issues. Third, I don't have an authorization. Most of the Python codes are, if I'm not wrong, it's organization based. It's .org. It's not a whole enterprise. This is the reason why the enterprise, the RPA word has started booming now. Whatever the solutions you had, there is no one who actually had a concrete wall to it telling, hey, if you encounter a problem, I'm there to come and solve it. So this is what do you call a nice hack, a big leap the RPA market has taken over the automation scripts I have or automation scripts we have before. I hope this answered Hawk.
I just wish Mr. Hawk was on the panel to do a verbal discussion on this. So coming back to our uh, topic of the panel discussion. So, regarding as we were talking about the future, right, of automation, uh, what would you suggest for students to do to engage, and start building the bots? Like, so right now, whenever someone starts the journey for WebD or Android development, anything, people find many open source projects. I'm sure that there are projects, open source projects for RP also. But how can the students and academy engage with them? Where can they find them? How to ensure that they get the chance to engage in those projects or build projects? Because we all know that open source is the crucial part of the technology world, right? There are many tools, softwares which are running totally open source. So what's the future of open source RPA? What do you think on these two terms? This was one of the questions one of my juniors asked me a week back, and I asked him to join this panel discussion, and I said that I'll take it on this discussion.
Yeah,
You wanna
Satish
try?
Rashmi.
No, no, you. If you wanna say, you
Yeah,
can start. I'll
I'll
add. Yeah,
yes.
I'll add.
And
So
why I
Dinesh,
asked
I
this
would
question, I'm sorry. I just
yeah.
wanted to. I just one point came. Why I asked this question because Vanessa would agree here that the projects play a very crucial part for the students in the pre-final year and final year, right? Where sometimes they just submit a basic project like a snake game sometimes because they're not sure what they want to build, and the people who have contributed into the open source projects can't show that as their own project in their final years. That's the reason why I asked students, so the students will have idea of what can they do to show in their one of their projects also. So yes, Syed Satish, please.
Yeah, Anuj, this is a problem which everybody is still trying to solve. We don't have a standard a platform. Okay, look, if I need to apply for a job, I have Naukri. If I need to enhance my network of professionalism, I have LinkedIn. If I need to tell the world about my paper that I'm writing or topics, I can go to Twitter. I can go to some other platforms and have my Git and Git code and share it to everybody. If a student have to learn project, be a part of a project, or could be an internship, to my known knowledge, there is no standard address which I can share. This is still a problem which most of the people are trying to solve. So I don't want to give 100% thing here. So again, this is the place where your community plays a key role. In community, you have, if you go to your forum.uipath.com, you have use case repositories. So what are these use cases? To understand use case, you need to understand automation. There is one person who's asking, sir, I'm from a finance, I'm from non-CS. Even Vinay sir has this question. I'm from non-CS or non-IT background. I'm from the different stream of engineering. Can I still be an RPA? So let me give you a very vague example. In any organization, tell me which student or which domain person can use a laptop. Everyone, each and every person are using laptop. Even when we enter, the security guards take all the registrations on a laptop, on a tablet. The future of RPA, the future of automation, going to be the same. What is the role of a laptop in an organization now? It doesn't matter you belong to development of JavaScript, Python, XYZ. Your team needs an automation expert. Your team needs an automation platform. So you need to understand RPA in this pattern. It doesn't matter which role you're targeting, the automation team or an automation expert or the interface of some automation will be part of your team. This is one point which I would like to stress. And coming to the other point which Anuj has raised here, community helps you to find the use cases, start building projects, start automating using them. The other good resource is join hackathons, be part of a team, see what is the solution they are trying to build, try to implement it. And unfortunately, from each and every organization, the use cases are almost similar. So don't mind if your project looks similar to what Ishmeet has built, because in every company, the HR performs in the same way. The only thing different that you could do is the combination of the coding style could be different for you.
Yeah, right. I mean, Sayed, you have really emphasized a really good point here. Forum has lot of use cases, and they are really well descriptive, giving you explanation with how your target system would look like. If students try to solve those challenges, they will learn a lot, because those challenges are not basic for loop program, right? They are challenges of the industry. They are real problem that is happening in all the industries, right? So if you try to solve those challenges and put as one of your final year project, it will be really good, because it will give you lots of thinking insight how the process works at the industry scale, right? So that's I want to add. Another thing I want to add is here, whatever the language choice you have, right? Be it a Java or JavaScript or any JS or Python or Go or Android development and anything, right? One thing you need to know is RPA is not different than software development life cycle. In RPA also we follow the software development life cycle, right? Here also you need to apply the core concepts of the programming languages. You need to know them. You need to understand and apply the skills even if you are building automation. The difference would be, instead of building a mobile application, instead of building a web application, instead of building a desktop based application, you are building automations which is giving value to the department, right? Recently I was been to one of the hackathon as a panel of judge. A lot of people had submitted lot of really good use cases. Those use cases are from many industry. They are from health industry, predicting the brain stroke, right? They are from academy, how automatic admissions and testing and all those can be solved. I have seen a use case, a really useful, where a student has built a automation for the placement department of their college, where they can be able to shortlist the student on the basis of their skills, applying those to the company which is visiting next in the placement season, and all those kind of things. So a lot of use cases are, and these are the real. So if you say, for example, if you are in a college and if you produce automations which can solve the problem of placement department, or which can solve a problem of academic department, it will be really useful, right?
Yeah.
So
So I would just like to add one more, line here, a different perspective. So, like you said, Anuj, you said that people are typically building snake, the snake game and everything, and they think like, okay, should we? What do we do next? And I also understand that it is very difficult to answer this question. What project should I build for my final or pre-final, semester? Answer to my that question is, don't worry about like if the project has already been done. Think from the perspective that if you like the idea, what is the twist I can introduce in this particular project? So let's talk about the snake game. Okay, I'm moving away from RPA for now. I recently saw someone building a project using OpenCV and Python, and what they did was they used augmented reality concept in which they built a snake game in air. So they used finger to keep the track of the snake's path, and then on in air they were placing fruits and everything, and that was their snake game. So even though the core concept of the snake game is same, that there is a snake who eats fruits and if it bites its tail, it will die. Core concept is same, but think about the technology that got introduced here. Think about the twist. So again, focus on, if you have to, if you are trying to use someone, if you are trying to rebuild an idea, do it. Every one of us do it, almost every day. Every one of us have done automation on enterprise level on SAP mainframe and everything, and it's not like we will not do it tomorrow. We will do it tomorrow, but you have to introduce a question. You have to think about from the perspective like how I can make it better, how I can make it more, how can I improve its performance, and how can I make it more manageable. Like Satish said, that I can have a solution ready to be deployed, but can that solution sustain in a 300 bot environment, or in such an environment where you are already having so many things available to manage? So for that, we are having CI/CD. Maybe try to implement that particular thing in our solution. So you have to think a little bit different, not from the idea perspective, but what you can do within that idea, what kind of twist you can bake into that particular idea that represents you. That's the only thing that I'll say. If I'm the judge, I will be looking for that.
And adding to that, I myself made my pre-final project and final year project on RPA, and those bots are being run now in the accounts department of my university. So our university did a small hackathon, not small exactly, for hackathon for our own institute internal, where they figured out the issues and problems that needed automation. They converted those issues department wise into problem statements, and students built a bot on those problem statements to solve those. And the students who made successful bots got an internship to build, improvise, and successfully deploy the bot in a month. So I guess this could be the initial base of finding your final year projects. Go to your HODs, go to your TPOs, go to your accounts department heads and ask, sir, what is the thing you do continuous 6 hours, 12 hours, and you need to do it on a regular basis. And they'll give you the problem. You need official permission to get the access of the data and everything. I totally understand that, but the senior faculties will surely understand. Vanessa, I guess you must also agree to the fact that there are many processes which can be automated, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like again, what we say in academics is it's not possible for every batch of students to come up with completely new innovative idea from scratch, right? What we insist on is bring the delta change, right? There is something already built there, bring some novelty into it. The delta could be 10% improvement over the existing, or 20, or it could be even a new paradigm. It will take some time, but bring that delta change, and that's where. So now you have so many platforms available, like there everything is available, right? It's just that you need to kind of figure out what delta could be in improving that particular process. So definitely, like as Ishmit pointed out and Anuj pointed out few cases, so a lot of problems to pick up. It's just that they need to spend some time and think about how that change can be brought in, which can eventually become a good project in their final year. Yes.
The
Anuj,
reason I'm smiling continuously, I'm really sorry if I was smiling, because I started remembering my old days when I, used to go and, sir, please let me work on this problem. And, it was really, really cool. I'm really sorry, guys. Yes, you were saying something?
no, Anuj, you seems to be a good kid, who would like to solve the problems. And in our academics, we were the problem. And
No.
and we missed out one important topic. No, you talked about open source, the
Yeah.
open source RPA market. Uh, we would like to make most of the people understand. I don't know how much relevant the open source topic discussion for the type of audience we have, but let's try to understand the open source, what it is. Open source has to be looked into two different prisms. One prism, for example, any of the people here would like to learn UiPath, and that tool is not available for you, and he wanted to learn some other tool which is open source and available for him to learn or her to learn. This is one way of looking at an open source. Second, I learned an open source tool. Now I go to an organization, I would like to implement this as a solution to the production. Some student come to me, or some of the employee come to me saying that, hey, look, we have a chatbot and it is free, you can use it, you just take this few clicks, use it. I approve it. It's a good solution. When I go to my client, when I go to an office, or when I go to an organization for production deployment, you have to understand what is the trade off that you're doing with this small tool, this small code or small component. What is the volume of the price? What is the volume of data? What is the amount of the files, the process, the applications on the other side of the table? So I'm using a data which is highly confidential, and I'm using an open source tool to lock it, run it, process it, and there is someone else who monitors it. There is an information security team. There is a risk assessment team. So they come into play, and that's the hard place where most of the open source solutions would not pass by. There is again the question by Hawk. When I have some native tools like JS, Java, and some frameworks which comes for free, why would I again go for UiPath? I go for UiPath, build some solution. When I introduce to my production team, they ask for price. There is a pay that the companies have to pay. That's how it is. That's how the markets actually run. Now let me take it. I'm planning to go for Paris, and I'm opting Club Mahindra, or I'm opting Thomas Cook. They are assisting me on my vacation. I'm actually free now. I go there. I don't need to bother about what time I'm reaching. I don't need to bother about my flight, missing my luggage, reaching out to hotel late, my dinner, nothing. My partner gonna take care of it. The only thing that I need to do is I need to be due diligence to the place where I'm in. Now imagine I'm planning the same vacation all by myself. By the moment I reach the airport in France, they say it's locked down. No, you're not allowed. I'm over. I'm stuck. I reached hotel late. I can't find my accommodation. I'm stuck. So this is the same analogy for understanding an open source and an enterprise solution. Companies don't want to risk. It's your data some or the other way. They don't want to risk by involving an open source solution. I don't mean the open source solutions are bad. What I just mean to say is understand the psychology of the C-level management with who sits there, and who would solve the problem if this open source solution comes up. If they depreciated their feature, if the open source came and said, no, from today onwards, this feature is not in use, we are not supporting, we are taking it off. Who's there to come and help you to migrate those things? If the same thing happens in UiPath, if the same thing happens in any of the other automation tool, something has been depreciated, the company takes the vigilance or the onus to give a replacement, to give a migration solution for it. So understand open source in these ways. If you're a learner, if you're trying to learn, understand technology, open source is good. But when you wanted to implement a product using the same open source in the production environment, you need to measure what is the data. If it is a customer data, if it is highly confidential data, if it is finance related data of any company, you cannot simply run them by an open source tools. So this is my take. Okay.
I guess Ishmir unmuted himself. Like, were you trying to say something, Ishmir, on this?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, okay. So, I guess Hawk has sent another comment. Since UiPath itself built on C hash, can we call it a framework of C hash?
You can
Shmit,
call
you
it a
can take
product
this.
built on. You can call it a product which is built on C Sharp, not a framework. I think because frameworks are used to build another frameworks. The definition of the framework inherently is different. We have JavaScript frameworks which are used to develop another websites. UiPath is different. So we cannot. As for me, I don't think we can call it a framework.
And I'll not agree with, it's a framework of C Sharp, I'll tell you. So UiPath has 15 plus component. One component is UiPath Studio that is built using C Sharp and, MWF and WFC framework. Apart from that, we have UiPath Orchestrator. We have UiPath AI Center. We have UiPath Document Understanding. You have a lot of data services for all those. Those require a lot of other technologies and integration among those technologies. We have Python as well, where we have AI centers are running, right? We have cloud native, AWS and Azure solution for automation clouds and all those kind of things. So a lot of things are there. It's not a only C sharp, right?
Perfect.
I guess I said she hash right in
C
jaldi
Sharp.
jaldi. I guess yeah, she shav. I said she
Sure.
hash.
Okay,
No,
we'll have
no,
it.
it's
So coming back, Vanessa, like we are moving towards the end of the session. So do you have anything you want to ask on the behalf of the whole academic and institute partners and students?
One question I would like to answer. I see there is a lot of people having a problem to understand between the diploma and certification. A lot of people used to ask this question: what is the difference between the diploma that you get from UiPath Academy and what is the certification that you get from external vendor, right? So I'll tell you. UiPath Academy is a single source of learning platform for all UiPath related tools. You can learn anything about UiPath on UiPath Academy, and it keeps updating whenever there is a new release, new product comes in. There will be courses going live within few days, right? When you complete covering the topics of the new tools or technologies which comes in a market, you get a diploma certificate coming out of UiPath Academy. So that's a diploma. That means you have completed the knowledge about the new tools and technology that has released into the market, right? Certification is something different. Certification is where we gauge the knowledge of a person who already know about the RPA, how good he is in the RPA domain, what are the best practices that he is following while building the solutions. So on the basis of those parameters, a different examination is being conducted. And there are two examinations. One is for associate, RPA associate, another one is advanced developer certification. And you can try those certifications once you have some experience in building some of the board. I'll say, don't go directly and try for the certification. At least build some project or some POC and then go for the certification, because there will test you on the basis of your real life challenges and real problems that is going to happen in a RPA. So that's a difference between diploma and certification.
Thanks, Satish, for explaining that into detail, and Piyush for answering it in the comment section. So coming back, Vinay sir, I guess you.
Yeah, I think I had a query related to the same regarding this diploma and certification, whether students should go for certification during their graduate. I think the query has been answered. Like, get some experience and then only you'll be able to kind of crack that certification. But then diploma, anyways, to learn the knowledge, being aware about what are the various components being introduced by UiPath, I guess that is something which can be taken. Yeah.
So I'm adding one question to this diploma and certificate discussion we are doing. So this question is made Syed and Satish. When is the right time to do the certification test or take the certification test? This question was asked to me by my few colleagues who are not exactly colleagues come juniors who have been part of RPA journey for like almost a year, and now they think that they can clear out the certification exam, and they're asking me. And I guess this must be a question for many people who have been in RP for like almost a year and want to have some sort of certification. So is there any right time to do, or should we go with the instincts? How does this works?
I'll start and maybe Ishmeet and Satish follow. Where Anuj, unfortunately, I'm being slightly old in this RP. I always go back to the years. Yeah, I remember the initial job description which says hiring in RPA. Okay, if you know about RPA, we have a job for you. This was a poster in one of the streets in Bangalore. If you can explain RPA to a client, you have a job. And so 17, 18, I've got a flyer, so job descriptions telling, if you know, if you've worked in the support of an RPA domain, we have an opening for you. And slowly it got into you, right? You should have a development experience, at least develop 2 projects end to end. And then it came like you should have a C sharp experience, .NET experience along with RPA. You understand, slowly it becoming bigger. Now, wherever I go, whichever the team I talk to, even my HR come to me and says, hey, I would like to have a guy to hire and he should be UiPath certified. So it's, I don't want to exactly say this. I keep telling it in the other platforms. Okay, when my family says, would like to buy this, I said, what is the right time to buy it? I ask them, if you direly need it, if you definitely need it, don't prolong, you buy it right now. I would like to implement the same on the certifications. If you really wanted to do it, if it is mandate for you to have it, go and have it right away. But yes, with all the preparations, like those questions, you have solved such similar problems. It is not that you taking the test for letting everybody know how lucky you are by selecting the multiple option questions. No, that's not the way. If you know the solutions, if you have solved a couple of problems and you have little exposure to how a company works, what is a finance department do, and what does the other departments, hey kid, what does the other departments do? After that, I would prefer people to understand, go and take certifications. But please, certifications are mandated now. Each and every organization is focusing on UI, RPA, and UI ART kind of certifications, and similar with automation anywhere and Blue Prism. Please, if you wanted to have it right now, provided you
So
know how to solve the problem.
I'll tell you. So two things I'll tell you here. First thing, that what I do at our organization. At our organization, whenever we hire a RPA developer, right? If a person having a RPA certification, one round of interview is deducted. So instead of 3 rounds, only 2 rounds. The first benefit that you'll get, right? Other than that, many time what happen is, you have one opportunities and lot of people are there, right? Lot of people are applying, right? So if one position and 20 people are there, how I should be able to filter your profile, right? So certification is also a value add which gives to your profile when you are applying for a position, right? Because if I have a 10 profile, all are saying RPA developer, right? How I should be able to guess just by looking at the project description they have written, right? So when a person is advanced developer certified or RPA developer certified, that means I understand that that person has at least worked for a 6 month in a RPA and he understand the basic concepts and he should be able to solve the problem of the RPA domain, right? So just to add here, whenever you feel that you are comfortable and you are comfortable building any sort of automation, right, end to end, you should go and try attempting the UiPath certification. That's the right time. But if you feel that you should buy some dumps or you should get a help from somebody XYZ person to give me the MCQ, right, to get the certification passed, that's not the right time to do it, because that can give you a certification that you can write in a profile. You will be passed into the first round of the interview, but in the second round of interview at my organization, whosoever person is an advanced developer certified, I ask tough question instead of easy questions. So that's how it works. Right?
It's a
So
two-way sword. Like you
yeah,
cannot,
it's a two-way shot.
it's not like you can just simply get a job if you are certified. See, certification only shows that okay, you know something, but you still have to go through all the rounds. And from student perspective, my advice will only be this particular thing: that analyze yourself, be good in RPA, but you have certification exams like pre-test that is exam if you are pursuing RPA with UiPath. So you have pre-exams available on UiPath's website, which you can take to get an idea of how the final exam is going to look like. And it is going to give you a fair amount of knowledge from the perspective of like where do you stand today and how much amount of work you have to do. Okay, so that is something which I feel like you should be looking into. Like after doing your academy certification, maybe give that particular, that paid certification, that test exam a try. Look how much you have scored, and after that, you can maybe focus on certain areas to be better at it and to score a bit more on the test exams.
I guess now everybody. Yes, so you were mentioning something.
No, something which I would love to see is Mr. Hawk saying, "Thank you for the answers. Really enjoying the session." Hawk, thanks to you, we enjoyed your questions.
Really, I'll try to find who is Mr. Hawk and get him on a panel discussion next time when we do, for sure.
Perfect. And
Great.
just to add about around something, Anuj, I put it on a private chat. There is a LinkedIn
Yes.
post. So just to make you understand, though it is a session which mostly focused on the academic students. So my company, which is Rupoyo, which is really popular in Europe and US markets, are trying to endorse our event. So why I would like to bring this example out here. Most of the students ask me, "Sir, I'm a fresher. I don't speak much. I have communication challenges. How would I position myself in front of a bigger companies when I go there?" Now, I love the habit of explaining students in the analogies in the different ways. Uh, a movie ticket of 100 rupees, 150, 200 rupees, have a 10, 15, 20 seconds teaser, 2, 3 minutes trailer to tell what the product is. And you guys value more budget than that. So I have never seen anybody encouraging to have a teaser or a trailer of your skills. How I don't still feel the generation who is coming up now still rely on Naukri. Those days are really something gone, and we have Vinay sir, who would possibly assess this thought or assess this idea and encourage students to have a teaser trailer of them, not the heroic stunts, not the bike rides. Show us the problems you solved. Tell us about your GitHub repository. What are the problems you can solve, and your languages on the technical skills that you have, and what is your strengths, your weakness, your USP. So half of the students I tell them, hey, okay, what is your USP? They don't even understand the word USP. So guys, let's have all our unique selling points. Why would company need to hire? The reason I requested Anuj to post that is, imagine this session is not, just imagine, right? This session is not that global. We're not actually talking to the global audience, but a company somewhere in Europe is sitting and endorsing our event. Why am I telling you this is, those days of relying on Naukri, those days of relying on any portals to pursue your dream job is over. No more such. My HR from Atlanta reaches out to me saying that, hey, I have these 3 profiles from India. Can you talk to them and tell them, are they interested to join us? I get surprised. How would a company, a person sitting in US region is looking at a guy in India and telling me to review him, telling me to talk to him? So the world has changed. The reason behind is he or she, the person, the 3 candidates are actively putting the content on the social media platforms, which they're very good at. So please, 200, 300 bucks of t-shirt has a display section, and we worth millions. Each of you worth millions here to the students. So please endorse yourself. The moment you put your profile on an Naukri, you marketed yourself, and try to learn how to market your skills either. You don't need to talk on a LinkedIn to tell what you know. Go out there and post. I'm sorry, I'm giving this. We Indians love to give free gyan. Consider this the same way. And with this, I think we crossing the time. Thank you again.
Yeah. So, just have a quick example to what Syed said. A few weeks back, I saw a video on LinkedIn and Instagram, same video, saying that this is my skill set and this is the best video I've made till now. The same time, he showed the video to the world that he made this and this is his skill level. And he said, tagging few big brands, I won't take the name here, that this is also my application as a video editor and designer for your organization. And he was hired in one of them. After 4 days, I saw a post that he was hired in one of them. Right. So what Mr. Syed is saying, that's true, and I've seen it in real life. It's not like it. Kabhi kabar hota. It happens sometime. No, it happens all the time, and I recently saw it. And so we have crossed the time limits, and the discussion was really great, really fruitful, and I guess everybody enjoyed it. Thanks a lot everyone for joining in. Miss Shobha from Oxford College couldn't join in due to some network glitches, but I guess we covered her questions as well in the discussion. Thanks Ishmeet, Satish, Syed, and Vanessa for joining in. The audience will be seeing some of our MVPs again in the near session because we have planned a lot in the month of April. And yeah, so thanks a lot everyone for joining in.
Yeah. Thanks, Anuj.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Vinay sir.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Ishmael.
you.
And
Thank you,
yes,
so much for
Anuj.
having us.
before we move, Anuj, a small warning. As I said, create some video, post some content. 2 things I would like to tell. Don't try to make it a viral. Don't be possessive. No, my content needs to be viral. I need to get more likes, more reactions. Please don't do that. Secondly, most of the people have a question, sir. My content may not have so much of quality. It may not interest everybody. Quality or quantity, which comes first? It's always quantity, not the quality. Unless you are doing something high, you have a zero error rate. As in when you building a content, your post, don't rely on the quality. Quality is built on top of quantity, guys. When there is no quantity, you cannot predict or you cannot make quality. So relax, Start pushing your content. Do not worry about how much quality does it has. It still needs, and the world is ready to absorb you.
Guys, I have shared couple of links on the comment section. These are the links to our industry speakers. You can connect with them, check out their YouTube channels, and have a blast. So thanks a lot everyone for joining. I guess this would be our see off for today. Take care. Have a good weekend, whatever is left, because we have the Monday morning coming soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.